Hello everyone, and this is my reaction to My Hero Academia Season 5, Episode 12. Episode 100 of My Hero Academia. We made it this far. We made it to 100. So last time, it was the end of the matches of Class A versus Class B. After the whole thing with the messages, the matches continued, and I thought at first Monoma was bluffing when he said he could use multiple quirks, but I watched it again, and we saw that he really was able to copy multiple quirks at a time. That's why he had multiple stopwatches. I thought it would just wait to trick his opponents by making them not sure which stopwatch is for his 5 minute timer and which for a decoy. But no, he can actually copy multiple quirks at a time now. He said 3 was a limit, but he threw in the possibility of being able to copy a fourth one, but I didn't buy it. But anyway, so now he can actually copy multiple quirks, and his limit has been now increased to 10 minutes, not 5. Morama mentioned how in stories there were protagonists and side characters, and he knows that he can't be a protagonist, but he's actually fine with being a side character. And didn't really appreciate Monoma all that much, but I think I'll start paying attention to him a lot more because he's not all talk. He actually can back up his words. So the fight continued, and Deku went after Shinso. Shinso was really looking forward to fighting Deku again after the sports festival. And for a brief moment, it looked like Deku was actually able to use Black Whip. He wasn't scared of it anymore, and he tried summoning it. But at his current level, it was clear that he isn't able to use it for a while. Alma is definitely going to want to hear about that, so maybe that's going to happen over here. And then at the very end, Class A managed to beat all of them, and they won the fifth match. Mineta was also pretty impressive the way he just kept bouncing around. His quirk has proven to be more and more useful the more I see it. And so they're able to trap them all, and they put 4 people in jail, and Class A won the fifth and final match. And Midnight was being the fair commentator that Black King just refused to be, and she commentated the end of the match while Black King was out there watching it. So the matches with Class A and Class B are done, and I'm not sure what's going to happen next. Well, let's find out now on the 100th episode of My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia, Season 5, Episode 12.
But I'd say, in all probability, Shinso will join the hero course in your second year.
Oh,
Just make sure you don't let him outshine you.
Got it.
alright.
It's true that in a tragic twist of fate, Class B was defeated today.
Tragic,
But
tragic twist
we
of fate.
didn't necessarily lose if you look at what we planned. If I had known that Midoriya's quirk was a blank, then we could have come up with tactics in response. In other words, if we were to fight again right now, there's no telling who would win.
That's enough out of you. Today's class is already over.
Yeah. Oh, he's not wrong.
If I had known that Midoriya's quirk was a blank, then who knows?
A blank? What does that mean?
Come visit Eri tomorrow.
Airy.
Eri? Why?
Is it for, what's it, what's his name? Togata?
Oh, wowzer, you learned how to write
Really?
super fast.
I've been
Eh.
writing letters
Awesome.
To who?
So who are they for?
for Deku and for you, a million. Saying things out loud is hard, so I'm trying this instead.
Aww. The new power and all for one.
You guys always have secret meetings in here.
I was surprised to see you joining us today.
I asked young Bakugo to come because he knows the truth behind your power. A predecessor with a shaved head? The person who had the quirk before my master was a young man with black hair. I
Okay.
don't think she knew about the other quirks living in One for All either.
Great, this idiot
Okay.
scum is the first one to go out of control.
Hey, that's enough.
Think harder. You must have noticed something that triggered the new power.
I don't think so. But the man I talked to said now's the time, so maybe there's something going on in the world that's making this happen?
If that's true, could it have something to do with All for One?
Oh,
His passed on ability originally came from him, right?
yep.
You're basically the same as him.
That's something I've thought but didn't want to say. We have to learn more about this power.
Alright, so that's why they're doing this now.
You completely showed me up with your manliness in that match. Since I'm made of metal, I can withstand intense heat. But on the other hand, there's a limit to how durable I can be. But you're the opposite! The more you're hit, the stronger you get! You're right! We're both manly tattoo.
Hi, beef stew's on the dinner menu tonight.
Oh, okay. And it looks like Class B's joining us too?
Okay, good.
They've come to mingle and talk about the training.
Those are good. What's he doing? Is it punishment?
I've been looking for you.
today was the first time something like that happened, so I was surprised myself.
How interesting. That must have been difficult for you. I bet it was pretty shocking. I apologize
What's he
for
doing?
doubting you.
How can you be sharp and dull at the same time?
You were amazing, Todoroki.
He's cold and
I
hot.
didn't know you'd gotten so good at using your flames.
I can't believe
I
it.
like you.
To think that you'd be the one approaching me about training.
Hey, there's a guy over there. So he's going to ask you to teach you that move. Okay. I want to see that.
You found yourself a miniature Aizawa, huh? Or is this really about Shirakumo?
Who?
If you have something to say, make
What? Did you have another student?
It's nothing. Just reminiscing about the old days.
Who is he talking about?
It's the bad guy. Oh no.
What's this foolish child saying?
Does he look like Overhaul? Oh my gosh, she
It
does.
has its bad parts and that you represented one of its downsides.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
I'm a
never
man
mind.
who follows the path of peace and justice.
Oh, he got a horn. Well, that is the source of her power.
This one is a blank. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help you out, it seems.
Oh.
Sorry, sir.
Disappointing, but it's not your fault.
You wanted him to copy Ares' quirk? Why would that be a good thing?
For you.
So, what does blank mean?
It must mean her power works like yours. Both of your quirks function as stockpilers. I copied the core nature of the quirk itself. But if it's an ability that accumulates something and changes it into a form of energy, I don't copy the stored up fuel that would make it function.
Oh.
That makes sense. For example, Fat Gum's quirk works only if he stockpiled a bunch of fat. Monoma could copy the base power, but he'd still be skinny.
Okay.
If it hadn't been for that, Monoma's limbs probably would have shot off into space.
Okay.
You're having a lot of trouble because of me.
Don't
It's
worry.
always like that. I cause everyone problems. I just wish that I didn't have this power.
Powers aren't good or bad. I know. Think of them like they're knives in the kitchen. They may be dangerous, but if they're sharp and you use them right, they make yummy food, huh?
Okay.
That's why when you use your power for good...
Strange metaphor as usual, but alright.
If that's true, could it have something to do with All for One? This passed-on ability originally came from him, right?
Even if that is where my power originated, it's my ally now, and I have to trust it.
Yeah.
Okay then, I'll get better at my quirk.
Yeah, similar. I just noticed. Okay, that's only halfway. I was wondering how much time had passed. It seemed like quite a while, but no, it's only halfway. Good.
Let's test our bodies against the elements!
Is it
Necessary.
December now?
Close the door, you guys. Sue's going into hibernation.
Oh no!
We'll get her warmed up quick.
It's their last supplemental class.
Oh,
If Todoroki and Baka
I thought so.
pass today,
It's been 3 months.
Every member of Class A will have provisional licenses.
Alright.
After today, I don't expect to see you chum buckets anytime soon. Are you ready, Plankton Brains? Good.
Okay then.
Still psyched I got my license before they did. It's the only thing I've ever beaten those two at.
Someone feeling inadequate?
Dinky, it's Dinky!
What the heck, guys?
Kaminari, you have positive attributes.
Thanks, Shoji.
Uh-oh. Oh gosh. Who's doing this? Who are you? Oh! This is pretty bad. Leave! Go somewhere. Go inside the building. And close the door. Oh, they can't see it.
I'll handle this then.
Bakugo?
Cautious. First, you need to check
the surroundings. I know.
Wait a minute.
You worry about evacuations.
Oh, it's part of
Fight these villains.
it's part of the licensing test, isn't it?
You two have only been licensed for half an hour.
Oh, Bakugo and Todoroki are going out. Okay, so it's not part of the test. They passed then, right? Well, it's not like they have time to wait.
Jeez. How many minutes have to pass before we can be heroes?
Well, you caught them and you buried it in
What's
outside.
the deal with you kids? You pretending to be grown-up pros?
You all need to get away from the scene.
Oh wow, it's All Might.
You can't just take other people's belongings.
That was too much.
You think you're cool? You got another thing coming. A couple of ice cubes aren't gonna stop me. We mapped out every last patrol pattern in this area. We spent an entire month prepping to make sure we nabbed a ton of end-of-the-year loot. There should be no heroes, just helpless bystanders. I won't let you ruin this! I can manipulate carbonation. Makes me feel all tingly inside. I'm way more determined than some punk kids who should be doing their homework.
Are you sure now?
More determined to get away scot-free, that is. Later!
Wait. Oh, them. Who's that? Oh, them. So. Okay, so they're down.
Now what was it you were saying about getting away?
I like that scarf. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Freeze them. You lost control, didn't you? Save the people. Leave! Go away! Alright. Bakugo. Save them! Someone save. Good. Good. Okay, Bakugo. Save lives. You're an idiot! You can't control it!
I was hoping we could avoid any violence.
Fire! Do you know the new move?
Flash freeze, heat wave!
Whoa. Flash freeze, heat wave. Whoa. He just made it cold so fast.
Carbonated water goes flat when heated.
You pulled that crap at the sports fest.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, I held back this time. Are you hurt at all?
Course not, damn it! You making fun of me?
And what about the bystander?
I saved her life!
Good.
Did you two manage to do this by yourselves?
Yep.
Just small-time criminals robbing bystanders, I think. We were able to capture all of them before anyone in the gang escaped.
And the stuff they nabbed?
I'll
Stashed it
recover.
before it got incinerated.
Good.
Perfect! You're incredible! I can't believe you're only students! Thank you! You're
Good.
gonna be top heroes! I'm positive about that fact.
His
Good.
gauntlets just blew up.
That's what he gets for using inferior goods from the black market.
The two of you were amazing tonight.
Thank you.
Now, let's go.
But you couldn't do much, could you, All Might? That look from All Might. He still hasn't gotten used to the fact that he can't be a hero anymore. That his days of saving lives are now over. That if he puts himself in danger, then he's the one who needs saving. Bakugo had to come to his rescue like that. He couldn't do it. That's what that look at the end told me. He misses being a hero. He misses not being able to be the symbol of peace anymore. Any post-credits? Yep, there's post-credits. Is this for the next arc?
Did we have a blackout or something?
Maybe everyone else left the dorms?
What
You
happened?
got your licenses!
Oh! Oh, surprise party.
Have some cake!
That thing is massive!
Wow, Todoroki.
We're proud of you.
Thank you.
They got the provisional licenses.
Now we can do hero work together. It'll be great, Kacchan.
Come on!
What, you think you're better than me because you got your license first?
They got their licenses. Good. So they did get their licenses. I figured now it was time because it was snowing, which means it was now December over there, and the overhaul arc started in October, which means by now it would have been 3 months since they took the provisional licensing exam. So they finally got their provisional licenses, and only an hour later, they both had to stop some guy with a water quirk trying to rob people. So he spent a month memorizing all the patrol routes to make sure no heroes would stop him, and then he went out of his way to snatch people's purses and flood the place. Bakugo and Todoroki were there, and the two of them managed to stop them. While they were there, All Might tried to save someone, but a lamppost was about to fall on him, and Bakugo had to save his life. So Bakugo saved lives while trying to stop the henchmen, and Todoroki finally used the new move that Endeavor taught him. He finally replied to Endeavor's messages after his class ended, and he allowed him to teach him the new move. So, what's it called again? Flash Freeze Heat Wave, he called it. It was similar to what he did when he fought Midoriya in the sports festival. So in that, what he did was, he made the area cold, and then he rapidly heated it up to create a big explosion. Although over here he said it a weaker version, just enough to blow him away into the ice where he could trap them. And that's how they stopped them. Bakugo only had one gauntlet on, and he kept the damage to a minimum. He only destroyed the ice, he didn't cause any damage to the surrounding areas. He only had to blow up that one lamppost, but he kept it under control. It was just strong enough to destroy the post and not hurt anybody else in the process. And then they managed to recover all the stolen objects as well. So now those two officially had their provisional licenses, which means now they have authority to fight villains, to a certain extent, of course, until they get their proper licenses after they graduate. But I guess for now they're allowed to do hero work, just like everybody else. And when they got back, they had a surprise party for them. Bakugo was enjoying the cake until Deku talked. Come on. Well, and so before all that happened, Bakugo and All Might were talking about Deku's quirk, and since Bakugo now knows about One for All, and since they've now told him the whole story about All for One and all that, he mentioned how Deku's quirk was similar to All for One, and it did originate from All for One after all, and so it could be possible that All for One and his brother had a similar power. The ability to pass on quirks is also something All for One could do, but his brother couldn't take quirks, and he didn't have a quirk to pass on until All for One gave him the stockpiling power. So yeah, so their quirks are similar. And Deku was the first user to use quirks from previous holders as well. All Might wasn't able to do that either. And All Might said Shimura's successor was someone who had dark hair. I'm just going to go back to the earlier messages and see if we could recognize him. Must be this guy over here. So I think he's the 6th holder. The one before Nana Shimura. So that's the dark haired guy who was before Nana. So they talked about how it was similar to All for One. And then they tried to bring Black Whip out, but it didn't come out this time. So Deku thinks after he decided that Black Whip is not a power he'd be able to use for a while, suddenly it stopped being available to him. So at the moment he can't use Black Whip, but eventually he will be able to once he feels like he's grown powerful enough. I wonder what quirks other users are supposed to have. We'll probably see more of them soon, but that's for another time. And then they tried to run an experiment with Monoma's quirk. They thought maybe if he copied Aries' rewind power, then maybe he'd be able to train her. Since they didn't know much about how Aries' quirk activated, they thought maybe they could get some information from watching Monoma use it, and then they could help her in the process. But it drew a blank. He couldn't fully copy his power. So he can't fully copy powers that require stockpiling power or something. Like those powers require a certain fuel. Like for One for All, it spent lifetimes storing up power and growing stronger and stronger. But Monoma couldn't use that. He could copy the basic aspect of how the quirk works, but he doesn't have the fuel needed to power it. So, even though he copied One for All, he hadn't stockpiled as much power as Deku did, and he had to do the whole thing from scratch. So, he did have One for All, but he didn't have any stored up power, and that's how it drew a blank. And that's what he means when it says he drew a blank. And same with Eri over there too. Her power is similar to stockpiling like that. And Deku also compared it to Fat Gum too. Fat Gum spent a long time building up the fat in his body that could absorb impacts. So, if he copied that quirk, he copied the ability to store up fat, but he didn't actually have any stored up fat. He would have to begin storing up fat from scratch before he can do anything Fat Gum can. And since he can only hold the power for 10 minutes, it's not really worth training because it will probably go away before he can even get close to getting that good with it. So that's what he means when he says it draws a blank. And that's why he wasn't able to copy One for All. So he actually did copy it, but he couldn't use it much. And Deku was very relieved that he couldn't copy One for All, which means his limbs didn't shoot out of him. They show that image like 2 times in this episode, but it didn't happen. So, it was a nice relaxation episode after the fight with Class A and Class B, and Class B came down to celebrate along with Class A. They came to Class A's dorms and they all celebrated together, and then Class A welcomed Bakugo and Todoroki back after they finally got their provisional licenses. So, that's about it. We still have no idea on where they're going to go next. Maybe we'll see a little more from the guy that those two fought, or maybe a bit more background information as to how he's able to memorize all the patrol routes. He said he spent a month doing it, but did he just memorize the whole thing from scratch, or did someone else give it to him? That's just me splitting hairs here because I really have no idea where they're going to go from here. I guess we'll find out next time though, so let's see how that turns out then. Thank you for watching my reaction to this episode, and I will see you all next time. Bye.